The Last of Us Part 2 begins with a confession. Several years have passed since Joel rescued Ellie from the fireflies at St. Mary's Hospital. He now lives in Jackson, Wyoming, where survivors have created a functioning community protected by walls, patrols, and cooperation. Ellie is alive because Joel chose her over the possibility of a cure, but their future together was built on a lie. Joel tells his brother Tommy what truly happened in Salt Lake City. He explains that the fireflies intended to kill Ellie during surgery because the mutated cordyceps growth inside her brain might have helped them create a vaccine. Joel killed the firefly soldiers who stood in his way, removed Ellie from the operating room, and killed Marlene to prevent her from searching for them. He also admits that he lied to Ellie afterward. Tommy understands the scale of what Joel has done, but he does not condemn him. Instead, he promises to keep the truth hidden. Joel returns to Ellie and gives her a guitar, fulfilling the promise he made during their journey across the country. He plays a song for her and tells her that he would always be there if she ever needed him. For a brief time, the two appear to have found peace. 4 years later, Ellie is 19 years old. She has grown into a capable patrol member who helps protect Jackson from infected people and hostile survivors. She lives in a small home near Joel, but the warmth they once shared has almost completely disappeared. Their relationship has become distant and uncomfortable because the truth about Salt Lake City still stands between them. Joel continues to watch over Ellie while she avoids discussing the reason she no longer trusts him. Ellie has also developed a complicated relationship with Dina, another young woman living in Jackson. Dina recently ended her relationship with Jesse, who remains a close friend to both of them. During a celebration at the settlement, Ellie and Dina dance together and share a kiss. A resident named Seth reacts with hostility and insults them. Joel intervenes and pushes Seth away, but Ellie becomes angry with Joel for protecting her. She tells him that she does not need his help. The argument appears to be another small conflict in their damaged relationship, but it will soon become one of Ellie's final memories of him. The following morning, Ellie and Dina leave Jackson for a routine patrol. Their responsibility is to search the surrounding region for infected people, record signs of danger, and make sure the roads remain safe. At the same time, a group of strangers has arrived near Jackson. One of them is a young woman named Abby Anderson. Abby has spent years searching for Joel. She has followed rumors across the country and believes he may be living inside the settlement. She is physically powerful, highly trained, and consumed by a purpose that the player does not yet fully understand. After separating from her group, Abby encounters a massive horde of infected people. She runs through the snow and reaches a ski lodge, but the infected surround her. Death appears unavoidable until 2 patrol members arrive and rescue her. Those patrol members are Joel and Tommy. They do not know who Abby is or why she came to Jackson. The 3 work together to escape the horde, then travel to a nearby mansion where Abby's friends are waiting. Joel and Tommy introduce themselves, and the atmosphere changes immediately. Abby's companions recognize Joel's name. They disarm the brothers, restrain Tommy, and shoot Joel in the leg. Joel understands that the group has been searching for him, but he refuses to beg for his life. He tells Abby to finish whatever speech she has prepared. Abby does not explain herself. She picks up a golf club and begins beating him. Meanwhile, Ellie and Dina discover that Joel and Tommy have failed to report back from patrol. Jesse joins the search, while Ellie reaches the mansion alone. She enters the basement and sees Joel lying on the floor. Abby's group restrains Ellie before she can reach him. Ellie screams, begs, and threatens everyone in the room, but she cannot stop what happens next. Abby delivers the final blow, and Joel dies while Ellie is forced to watch. The strangers leave Ellie and Tommy alive. Some members of the group argue that killing them would remove future witnesses, but Owen insists that their mission was only about Joel. They came for one person, and he refuses to murder innocent people simply because they were present. Ellie returns to Jackson with Joel's body. His house remains filled with the objects of an interrupted life. Ellie finds his guitar, photographs, clothing, and the watch Sarah gave him before the outbreak. Every item reminds her that there will be no opportunity to repair their relationship. The community begins mourning, but Ellie cannot accept that Joel's killers have escaped. Tommy identifies patches worn by the group. The symbol belongs to the Washington Liberation Front, an organization commonly called the Wolves. The group controls much of Seattle and possesses soldiers, weapons, vehicles, and secure territory. Tommy initially tries to discourage Ellie from seeking revenge. Jackson cannot declare war against an entire military organization, especially when they know almost nothing about the people involved. Ellie refuses to let the matter end. She has the name Abby, the symbol of the Washington Liberation Front, and a city. For her, that is enough. Tommy speaks with Maria and realizes that Ellie will leave with or without permission. He secretly departs for Seattle before she can do so. His intention may be to avenge Joel, protect Ellie, or accomplish both before she places herself in danger. Ellie and Dina leave soon afterward. Jesse stays behind because Jackson needs capable patrol members, while Maria allows Ellie to go and asks her to bring Tommy home. The journey to Seattle takes several weeks. Ellie and Dina eventually reach the city and discover that it has been transformed by years of conflict. The Washington Liberation Front once rebelled against the Federal Disaster Response Agency and defeated the military government that controlled the quarantine zone. After winning the uprising, the Wolves became the dominant force in the region. The organization is led by a man named Isaac Dixon. Under his command, the Washington Liberation Front controls military bases, farms, stadiums, vehicles, and large numbers of trained soldiers. The group presents itself as a community fighting for survival, but it also imprisons, tortures, and executes its enemies. The Wolves are involved in a brutal war with a religious community known as the Seraphites. The Seraphites follow the teachings of a spiritual leader called the Prophet. She preached a rejection of the old world's dependence on technology and encouraged her followers to live through agriculture, discipline, and spiritual devotion. After the prophet was killed, her teachings became increasingly rigid under new leadership. The Seraphites now use traditional weapons, communicate through whistles, and decorate their bodies with ritual scars. Soldiers from the Washington Liberation Front commonly call them scars. Both sides describe the other as savage and dangerous. Years of violence have turned every death into justification for another attack. Ellie and Dina enter Seattle while following signs of Washington Liberation Front activity. They discover abandoned Federal Disaster Response Agency checkpoints, destroyed streets, and evidence of the uprising that ended military control. A recorded message reveals that the Wolves executed Federal Disaster Response Agency officers after capturing the city. Posters and abandoned documents show that the rebellion began with promises of freedom, but victory did not end oppression. One military authority was replaced by another. Ellie and Dina eventually reach a large gate blocking their path. Dina helps Ellie restore power and open the entrance, allowing them to continue deeper into the city. They find evidence that Tommy arrived before them. Several Washington Liberation Front soldiers have been killed and tortured, suggesting that he is searching for information with the same methods Joel once used. The two women locate a former theater and use it as a temporary shelter. Dina reveals that she is pregnant with Jesse's child. She had suspected the pregnancy before leaving Jackson, but she was not certain. Ellie reacts with frustration because Dina can no longer safely continue the hunt. Dina believes Ellie is angry that she has become a burden. Ellie denies this, but the revelation creates tension between them. The pursuit of Abby has already placed more than one life at risk. Ellie continues searching and discovers photographs belonging to Abby's group. Each photograph includes a name, giving Ellie a list of people who were present when Joel died. Jordan is among the first members of the group she encounters. He was the man who restrained Ellie in the basement. Ellie is captured by Washington Liberation Front soldiers, and Jordan prepares to interrogate her. Dina intervenes, allowing Ellie to escape and kill him. The revenge Ellie imagined has begun, but killing Jordan does not bring relief. It only points her toward the next person. The trail leads to a television station where Leah, another member of Abby's group, was believed to be stationed. Ellie and Dina arrive too late. Seraphites have attacked the building and killed nearly everyone inside, including Leah. The walls are filled with bodies, arrows, and messages from the Seraphites. Ellie finds photographs and information connecting the remaining members of Abby's group to different locations across Seattle. Their search is interrupted by Washington Liberation Front soldiers, followed by an encounter with Seraphite warriors. Ellie and Dina become trapped between two forces that view every outsider as an enemy. They eventually escape through underground tunnels where cordyceps has continued growing for decades. Inside, they encounter a new form of infected person known as a shambler. Shamblers are covered in thick fungal growth and release clouds of corrosive spores when threatened. Their bodies have developed differently from bloaters, possibly because of Seattle's wet environment and years of exposure. Ellie and Dina survive the tunnels and return to the theater. Dina's condition becomes worse, so Ellie decides to continue alone. Her next target is Nora Harris, a former Firefly, who now works as a medic for the Washington Liberation Front. Before Ellie reaches her, the story reveals more about the years between the two games. 3 years earlier, Joel surprised Ellie with a birthday trip. He brought her to an abandoned museum and led her through exhibits about dinosaurs, prehistoric animals, and space exploration. Ellie was fascinated by astronauts and had once told Joel that she wanted to become one. Inside a model spacecraft, Joel gave her a recording of a space launch. Ellie closed her eyes and imagined leaving Earth while Joel watched her with quiet affection. The museum visit shows the relationship they could have had. Joel understands Ellie's interests, and Ellie allows herself to experience a childhood that the outbreak denied her. However, the memory ends with a reminder that the world outside remains violent. In another part of the museum, Ellie discovers graffiti left by a survivor who lost faith in the Fireflies and humanity itself. Even during one of their happiest days, the consequences of Joel's lie remain nearby. In the present, Ellie travels through the Hillcrest district while searching for a deserter from the Washington Liberation Front. She discovers that Tommy has been attacking wolf patrols, but the person creating chaos in Hillcrest is Jesse. Jesse secretly followed Ellie and Dina from Jackson. He came because Tommy is missing and because he cares about Dina. Ellie and Jesse escape the district together. Jesse returns to the theater to protect Dina, while Ellie continues toward the hospital where Nora works. The hospital is heavily guarded by the Washington Liberation Front. Ellie infiltrates the building and finds Nora, who immediately recognizes her. Nora insults Joel and claims that he deserved what happened. Ellie attacks her and begins a pursuit through the hospital. Nora eventually falls into an abandoned lower section filled with cordyceps spores. Ellie follows without a mask. Nora realizes that Ellie is the immune girl from Salt Lake City. The spores are already affecting Nora, leaving her with little time before the infection takes control. Ellie demands Abby's location, but Nora refuses to betray her friend. Ellie picks up a metal pipe. The scene ends before the full interrogation is shown, but Ellie later returns to the theater covered in blood and visibly disturbed. She tortured Nora until she revealed that Abby was hiding at an aquarium. Ellie has now used the same methods that once frightened her when Joel used them. She tells Dina that she made Nora talk, but she cannot describe exactly what she did. Her revenge is changing her. That night, Ellie remembers another moment from her past. 2 years earlier, she returned to St. Mary's Hospital alone. Her doubts about Joel's story had grown too strong to ignore. Inside the abandoned building, she found a recording left by a former Firefly. The recording confirmed that the Fireflies had not discovered other immune people. Ellie was their only known chance to study a possible vaccine. It also revealed that Joel killed the surgeon, removed her from the hospital, and destroyed the operation. Joel followed Ellie to Salt Lake City and found her listening to the recording. She demanded the truth, and Joel finally admitted everything. He told her that she would have died during the surgery and that he stopped it from happening. Ellie broke down because the meaning she had attached to her immunity disappeared. Riley, Tess, Sam, and everyone else had died while she survived. She had believed that her life could transform those losses into something meaningful. Joel took that possibility away without asking what she wanted. Ellie told him that their relationship was over. The memory explains the distance between them and Jackson. Joel did not lose Ellie physically, but his lie damaged the trust that held them together. In the present, Ellie prepares to reach the aquarium. Jesse joins her, and they take a boat through the flooded streets of Seattle. During the journey, Jesse hears reports suggesting that Tommy is nearby. He wants to find him and return to Dina. Ellie refuses to abandon the search for Abby, so the two separate. Jesse follows Tommy's trail, while Ellie continues toward the aquarium alone. Her decision shows how completely revenge has taken control. Tommy was the reason she originally gave for coming to Seattle, but when forced to choose, she places Abby first. A storm covers the city as Ellie crosses flooded streets and abandoned buildings. She eventually reaches the aquarium and encounters Owen Moore and Mel. Owen was Abby's former partner and the man who prevented the group from killing Ellie and Tommy and Jackson. Mel is a medic, a former Firefly, and Owen's current partner. She is also pregnant. Although Ellie does not initially realize it, Ellie holds them at gunpoint and demands Abby's location. She attempts to use Joel's interrogation technique by forcing them to point toward the same location on a map. Owen tries to take Ellie's weapon, so she shoots him. Mel attacks with a knife, and Ellie kills her during the struggle. Owen dies before he can help. Ellie opens Mel's jacket and discovers the pregnancy. The realization overwhelms her. Dina is also pregnant, and Ellie understands that her revenge has destroyed a family before the child could be born. Tommy and Jesse arrive at the aquarium and find Ellie in shock. They bring her back to the theater. By this point, the group has decided to leave Seattle. Dina needs medical care. Tommy has been injured, and Abby remains difficult to find. Ellie agrees that returning to Jackson is the right decision. She has killed Jordan, Nora, Owen, Mel, and several Washington Liberation Front soldiers. Leah is also dead. Nearly everyone involved in Joel's murder has been punished. It still does not feel complete. At the theater, Ellie looks at the map she used during the confrontation. She suddenly realizes that she left it behind at the aquarium. Abby now knows where they are. The story then returns to the beginning of the Seattle conflict, but the perspective changes. The player now follows Abby. Several years before Joel's death, Abby lived among the Fireflies at St. Mary's Hospital. Her father, Jerry Anderson, was the surgeon preparing to operate on Ellie. Jerry understood that the surgery would kill Ellie. He also believed her immunity offered humanity a chance that might never appear again. Before the operation, Marlene asked Jerry whether he could perform the same procedure if Abby were the immune girl. He could not give her an answer. Jerry cared about saving humanity, but he was also a father. The same moral conflict that later defined Joel was already present within him. Joel entered the operating room and killed Jerry before rescuing Ellie. Abby found her father's body, and that moment became the center of her life. The Fireflies collapsed after the hospital massacre and Marlene's death. Abby joined the Washington Liberation Front with several former Fireflies, including Owen, Mel, Nora, Manny, Jordan, Leah, and Nick. She dedicated herself to becoming stronger. She trained constantly, built muscle, and transformed into one of the most capable soldiers in the Washington Liberation Front. Every part of her life became connected to the search for Joel. Owen remained close to her, but Abby's obsession made a normal relationship impossible. He eventually became involved with Mel, while Abby continued searching for the man who killed her father. When the group finally learned that Joel might be in Jackson, they traveled to Wyoming. Abby's revenge succeeded because Joel saved her life and unknowingly delivered himself into her hands. Killing him did not give her peace. In Seattle, Abby continues experiencing nightmares about the hospital. She repeatedly imagines entering the operating room and finding her father dead. The revenge she spent years pursuing has changed nothing inside her. On the first day after returning from Jackson, Abby travels through Washington Liberation Front territory with Manny and Mel. They live in a converted stadium that has become a large and organized settlement. The stadium contains farms, schools, families, training areas, food production, and military equipment. Like Jackson, it demonstrates that humanity can rebuild. Unlike Jackson, the Washington Liberation Front community is defined by an active war. Many residents are soldiers, and nearly every resource supports the conflict with the Seraphites. Abby learns that Owen has disappeared after killing another soldier from the Washington Liberation Front. According to the official story, Owen refused to execute an elderly Seraphite and attacked his own partner during the argument. Isaac orders Abby to remain focused on the coming invasion of the Seraphite Island. He believes Owen may have betrayed the Washington Liberation Front and warns Abby not to interfere. Abby ignores the order. She travels into hostile territory to find Owen. Along the way, Seraphites capture her. They hang her from a rope and prepare to kill her. Before the execution is completed, two young Seraphites intervene. They are siblings named Yara and Lev. Yara has been captured because she attempted to protect Lev. A Seraphite leader uses a hammer to destroy Yara's arm as punishment. Lev shoots the attackers, cuts Abby down, and helps both women escape. Abby, Yara, and Lev are forced to fight together through a forest filled with Seraphites and infected people. Although Abby views the Seraphites as enemies, these two have saved her life. She learns that Lev was born as Lily and was expected to become a wife to one of the Seraphite elders. Lev rejected that role, shaved his head, and began living as a boy. The Seraphites considered this a violation of their laws. Yara protected her brother, so both siblings were declared apostates and sentenced to death. Abby helps them reach temporary safety, then leaves to find Owen at the aquarium. Owen explains that he no longer believes in the war of the Washington Liberation Front. During a patrol, he encountered an elderly Seraphite who was prepared to die. Owen could not kill him. When another wolf attempted to do it, Owen fought back and accidentally killed his companion. He now plans to sail to Santa Barbara, California, where he believes a surviving group of fireflies may be gathering. Owen wants to return to the purpose the fireflies once represented. He is tired of fighting a war in which every side continues creating reasons to hate the other. Abby spends the night with him, despite his relationship with Mel. After falling asleep, Abby has another nightmare. This time, she sees Yara and Lev hanging inside the hospital. She wakes and immediately returns for them. Abby brings the siblings to the aquarium, where Mel examines Yara's injured arm. The damage is too severe. Without surgery, Yara will die. The operation requires medical supplies stored inside the hospital. Lev offers to guide Abby through the city using paths built by the Seraphites. These routes cross rooftops, construction cranes, and bridges high above the streets. Abby is terrified of heights, but she follows Lev because Yara's life depends on them. Their journey forces both characters to confront their assumptions. Abby has spent years calling Seraphites scars and treating them as a single enemy. Lev has been raised to view soldiers from the Washington Liberation Front as violent outsiders. As they travel together, they begin seeing each other as individuals rather than symbols of opposing groups. Lev explains parts of the prophet's teachings. He believes her original message was based on peace and restraint, even though later Seraphite leaders transformed those teachings into strict laws and violence. Abby begins questioning the language she uses. When Lev refers to the Seraphites as his people, Abby initially corrects him by calling them scars. Later, she accepts his chosen name for them. Their route eventually leads through a damaged building filled with infected people. They survive and reach the hospital, but soldiers from the Washington Liberation Front arrest Abby for abandoning her assignment. Nora secretly releases her after learning that Yara needs help. The surgical supplies are located in the hospital's sealed lower levels. These areas were among the earliest infection sites in Seattle. Patients were locked inside when the outbreak began, allowing cordyceps to spread and combine through the building for more than 20 years. Abby descends alone. She discovers infected bodies fused into the walls and medical rooms covered by massive fungal growth. At the center of the lower level is a creature formed from multiple infected people who have grown together. This creature is known as the Rat King. The Rat King is not a normal stage of infection. It is a colony created when several victims remained trapped in the same contaminated space for decades, their bodies fused into a single mass with the strength and traits of several advanced infected forms. Abby defeats the creature and retrieves the supplies. Mel successfully removes Yara's arm, saving her life. For the first time since her father's death, Abby's nightmare changes. She enters the hospital operating room again, but instead of finding Jerry's body, she sees him alive and smiling. Helping Yara and Lev has given Abby something revenge never could. She cannot change what happened to her father, but she can choose what kind of person she becomes afterward. The following day, Yara wakes and discovers that Lev has left the aquarium. He took a boat and returned to the Seraphite Island because he wants to convince their mother to leave with them. Yara knows their mother will not accept Lev's identity or forgive what he has done. She fears he will be killed. Abby decides to rescue him. Before leaving, Mel confronts Abby. She believes Abby's sudden kindness is an act designed to impress Owen. Mel has seen Abby commit violence without hesitation and does not trust the change she now claims to feel. She calls Abby a terrible person. Abby is hurt because part of her believes Mel is right. Saving Yara and Lev cannot erase Joel's murder or the years she spent serving the Washington Liberation Front. Yara tells her that one person's opinion does not determine everything she is. Abby has helped them, and that choice matters. Abby and Yara travel by boat toward the Seraphite Island. On the way, a sniper attacks soldiers from the Washington Liberation Front from a nearby building. Abby and Manny pursue him through the area. The sniper kills Manny with a shot to the head. Abby eventually realizes that the attacker is Tommy. Tommy has been hunting the people responsible for Joel's death and has already killed several wolves. He traps Abby near the water, but Yara intervenes and saves her. Tommy falls into the ocean and disappears. Abby and Yara continue toward the island where the invasion by the Washington Liberation Front has already begun. Isaac has mobilized his forces for a final assault against the Seraphites. Boats approach the island, while soldiers prepare to destroy the community completely. The Seraphites respond with their own warriors, and the conflict becomes a massacre. Abby and Yara reach Lev's home. Lev's mother rejected him and attempted to attack him. During the struggle, she fell and died. Lev is devastated. He wanted to save her despite everything she believed about him. Before they can leave, soldiers from the Washington Liberation Front arrive. Isaac finds Abby protecting Yara and Lev. He orders her to move away from them. Abby refuses. Isaac prepares to shoot her, but Yara kills him before he can fire. Soldiers from the Washington Liberation Front immediately shoot Yara, killing her. Abby and Lev escape while the island burns. They move through villages consumed by fire as wolves and Seraphites kill one another. Homes, farms, and families are destroyed by a war that neither side is now capable of controlling. Abby fights members of the organization she once served, while Lev fights people from the community that raised him. By the time they reach the coast, both have lost almost everything. They take a boat and return to the aquarium. Inside, Abby discovers Owen and Mel's bodies. Lev finds the map Ellie left behind. Abby understands that the people from Jackson are responsible. She travels to the theater with Lev. The story returns to the moment when Ellie realizes that her map is missing. A noise comes from the entrance, and Tommy prepares to investigate. Abby appears and holds him at gunpoint. Jesse runs into the room. Abby shoots him in the face, killing him immediately. Tommy attacks, but Abby shoots him and appears to kill him as well. Ellie emerges and surrenders when Abby threatens Tommy. Abby throws the photographs of her dead friends onto the floor. She tells Ellie that she spared her in Jackson, yet Ellie hunted and killed everyone around her. Ellie attempts to redirect Abby's anger by revealing her immunity. She claims that Joel acted to save her and insists that she is the person Abby wants. Abby does not care. Her revenge has never been about the vaccine. It is about her father and the people she loved. Ellie escapes backstage, and the two women fight through the theater. Abby eventually defeats Ellie. Dina intervenes, but Lev shoots her with an arrow. Abby overpowers Dina and prepares to cut her throat. Ellie desperately reveals that Dina is pregnant. Abby answers that this makes the act more satisfying because Ellie killed Mel. Lev says Abby's name. That single word stops her. Abby looks at Lev and realizes that killing Dinah would return her to the person she is trying to leave behind. Everything she learned while protecting Yara and Lev would become meaningless. She releases Dina. Abby tells Ellie that she never wants to see her again, then leaves with Lev. Ellie survives, while Tommy survives the gunshot with permanent injuries. Jesse is dead, Dina is injured, and her child will grow up without his biological father. The revenge journey has destroyed nearly everyone connected to it. More than a year later, Ellie and Dina live together on a farm outside Jackson. Dina has given birth to a boy named JJ. The farm appears peaceful. Ellie cares for the animals, plays guitar, and helps raise the child. She and Dina have created the family that neither of them expected to have. For short periods, Ellie seems happy. However, she continues experiencing severe trauma. Ordinary sounds can return her to the basement where Joel died. During one episode, she imagines herself trapped behind the same door while Joel screams. Ellie cannot sleep normally, struggles to eat, and remains consumed by memories of Abby. Dina knows that Ellie is suffering, but she hopes their life together can help her recover. Tommy arrives at the farm. His injuries have permanently damaged one eye and affected his movement. His marriage to Maria has also deteriorated. Tommy once encouraged Ellie to abandon the search and return to Jackson. Now, he has become consumed by the revenge he could not complete. He tells Ellie that a traitor encountered a woman matching Abby's description in Santa Barbara. Tommy wants Ellie to follow the lead because he is no longer physically capable of doing it himself. Dina becomes furious. She reminds him that their pursuit has already killed Jesse and nearly killed everyone else. Tommy leaves, but the information remains with Ellie. That night, Ellie remembers Joel and hears his screams again. She believes she cannot continue living with the trauma. She convinces herself that killing Abby may finally end it. Dina begs her to stay. She tells Ellie that she cannot continue supporting a revenge mission that repeatedly destroys their family. Ellie must choose between the life they have built and the person she is still hunting. Ellie leaves. She travels to Santa Barbara alone. Meanwhile, Abby and Lev have spent months searching for the Fireflies. They follow old rumors and discover a hidden radio station inside a house. Abby contacts a man who claims that surviving Fireflies have reorganized on Catalina Island. He asks questions to confirm her identity, then provides directions to their location. For the first time in years, Abby appears hopeful. She and Lev leave the house, but armed men surround them. The attackers belong to a group known as the Rattlers. The Rattlers capture travelers, force them into slavery, and use infected people as weapons. Prisoners who resist are tortured or left outside to become infected. Abby and Lev are taken before they can reach Catalina Island. Several months later, Ellie arrives in Santa Barbara. She follows Abby's trail and encounters the Rattlers. During a fight, Ellie is caught in a trap and wounded. She escapes, kills several Rattlers, and forces one of them to reveal that Abby attempted to escape. As punishment, Abby and Lev were taken to a location near the beach known as the Pillars. Ellie enters the Rattler compound and frees their prisoners. The captives begin an uprising while Ellie moves toward the coast. She reaches the beach and sees rows of prisoners tied to wooden pillars. Abby is among them. She has been starved, tortured, and exposed to the sun. Her body is almost unrecognizable compared with the powerful soldier Ellie once pursued. Lev hangs unconscious from another pillar. Ellie cuts Abby down. Abby does not attack her. She immediately frees Lev and carries him toward the boats. Her only concern is keeping him alive. Ellie follows them. For a moment, it appears that the confrontation may end without further violence. Abby places Lev inside a boat, and Ellie approaches another vessel. Then Ellie sees blood on her hand. An image of Joel's broken body returns to her mind. She tells Abby that she cannot let her leave. Abby refuses to fight. She no longer wants revenge and has no interest in continuing the cycle between them. Ellie threatens Lev. Abby understands that Ellie will not stop. They walk into the ocean and begin fighting. Both women are exhausted and wounded. The fight is not heroic or satisfying. It is a desperate struggle between two people who have already lost almost everything. Abby bites Ellie's hand and removes 2 of her fingers. Ellie gains control and forces Abby beneath the water. She begins drowning her. As Abby struggles, Ellie remembers Joel again. This time, she does not see his ruined body on the floor. She sees him sitting peacefully outside his home with a guitar. Ellie releases Abby. She tells her to take Lev and leave. Abby enters the boat and disappears into the darkness. Ellie remains alone in the water. The memory that stopped her comes from the night before Joel's death. After the celebration in Jackson, Ellie visited Joel at his home. Their relationship was still damaged by the truth about Salt Lake City. Ellie told him that she should have died in the hospital. She believed her life would have mattered if the Fireflies had been able to create a vaccine. Joel listened, then gave her the same answer he had carried for years. If he were given another chance, he would make the same decision again. Joel knew Ellie might never forgive him. He knew his choice had destroyed their relationship and possibly humanity's best opportunity for a vaccine. He still believed her life was worth saving. Ellie told him that she did not think she could forgive him. Then she said she would like to try. Their final conversation was not another rejection. It was the beginning of reconciliation. The following morning, Joel died. Ellie's obsession with Abby was therefore not driven only by grief. It was also driven by guilt. She had spent years angry with Joel, and just as she opened the possibility of repairing their relationship, that possibility was taken away. She could never tell him that she forgave him. She could never recover the time they lost. Killing Abby could not change that. Ellie returns to the farmhouse. The rooms are empty. Dina has taken JJ and left, just as she warned she would. The home they built together has disappeared. Ellie finds Joel's guitar and attempts to play the song he taught her. Because Abby removed 2 of her fingers, she can no longer form the chords correctly. The physical consequence of revenge has severed one of her final connections to Joel. For a moment, Ellie remembers their conversation on the porch. Then she places the guitar beside the window and leaves the farmhouse. The story does not reveal exactly where she goes. She may return to Jackson and attempt to reconcile with Dina. She may begin another life somewhere else. What matters is that she finally leaves the guitar behind. Throughout The Last of Us Part 2, characters mistake revenge for a form of healing. Abby believes killing Joel will end the nightmares created by her father's death, but it does not. After Joel dies, she remains angry, isolated, and emotionally trapped inside the hospital. Her recovery begins only when she chooses to protect Yara and Lev. Ellie follows the same path from the opposite direction. She believes killing Abby will make Joel's death easier to accept, but every person she kills only creates another memory she must carry. Jordan's death does not satisfy her. Torturing Nora traumatizes her. Killing Owen and Mel nearly destroys her. Leaving Dina does not give her peace. The person Ellie truly cannot forgive is not Abby. It is herself. She cannot forgive herself for rejecting Joel, wasting their final years together, and failing to save him. Abby becomes the target because Ellie cannot attack the past. The structure of the story forces the player to experience this cycle from both perspectives. During Ellie's section, Abby appears to be a monster. She murders Joel, destroys Ellie's life, and escapes before she can be punished. During Abby's section, Joel becomes the man who killed her father and destroyed the Fireflies. Ellie becomes the stranger who murders Owen, Mel, Nora, and the people Abby considers family. No action changes when the perspective changes, but its meaning becomes more complicated. Joel saved Ellie because he loved her. In doing so, he killed Jerry. Abby loved Jerry, so she killed Joel. Ellie loved Joel, so she hunted Abby and her friends. Each person believes their pain is unique, while treating the pain they create as less important. The cycle does not continue because these characters are incapable of love. It continues because they love deeply and cannot accept losing the people who gave their lives meaning. Abby's relationship with Lev mirrors the relationship between Joel and Ellie. At first, Abby helps Lev because he helped her. Their connection grows through danger, dependence, and shared loss. By the time they escape the Seraphite Island, Lev has become the person Abby is willing to betray the Washington Liberation Front to protect. Like Joel, Abby finds a new purpose through caring for a younger person. This relationship changes the decision she makes at the theater. Lev does not physically stop Abby from killing Dina. His presence reminds her of the person she wants to become. Later, Abby refuses to fight Ellie because protecting Lev matters more than revenge. Ellie reaches the same understanding much later. When she releases Abby, she does not forgive everything Abby has done. She does not suddenly accept Joel's death or abandon her grief. She simply chooses not to create another loss. Killing Abby would leave Lev alone, repeating the same pain that began the entire story. The conflict between the Washington Liberation Front and the Seraphites expands this idea beyond individual characters. Each group has suffered real violence. The wolves remember attacks by the Seraphites. The Seraphites remember the murder of their prophet and the brutality of the Washington Liberation Front. Both sides use past suffering to justify present cruelty. Peace becomes impossible because every new death creates another reason for retaliation. By the time Isaac invades the island, the original purpose of the conflict barely matters. Soldiers burn homes and kill families because the opposing group has become something less than human in their minds. The destruction of the island is the revenge cycle on the scale of an entire society. Abby escapes only after rejecting the identity the Washington Liberation Front gave her. Lev survives only after rejecting the rules imposed by the Seraphites. Both must leave their communities behind before they can imagine a different future. The game also examines the difference between justice and revenge. Ellie believes Abby deserves to die because she tortured and killed Joel. Abby believed Joel deserved to die because he killed Jerry. Both beliefs contain understandable anger, but neither killing restores what was lost. Justice usually attempts to protect the community, establish responsibility, or prevent future harm. The revenge in this story is personal. It exists to transfer pain from one person to another. Abby wants Joel to experience fear and helplessness before he dies, because that is what she felt after losing her father. Ellie wants Abby to suffer because she was forced to watch Joel die. Their violence is designed to make another person carry the pain they cannot escape. It fails every time. Abby's nightmares continue after Joel's murder. Ellie continues seeing Joel after Abby is spared at the theater. The past cannot be corrected through greater suffering. The story does not argue that forgiveness is easy or always deserved. Ellie never tells Abby that she forgives her, and Abby never apologizes for killing Joel. Instead, the final act focuses on release. Ellie releases Abby from the pillar, then releases her from beneath the water. More importantly, she releases herself from the obligation to complete the revenge. That decision arrives after almost everything has already been lost. Joel is dead. Jesse is dead. Tommy is permanently injured. Dina has left. Ellie's hand is damaged, and she can no longer play Joel's song in the same way. The ending is painful because Ellie could have stopped earlier. She had a home, a partner, and a child who loved her. Trauma convinced her that peace was impossible while Abby remained alive. After reaching Abby, she discovers that the final act of violence would not restore anything. The guitar represents Ellie's connection to Joel throughout the story. Joel gives it to her when they settle in Jackson. He teaches her to play, sings for her, and connects music to the future he wants her to have. When their relationship collapses, the guitar remains. Ellie continues playing because it allows her to approach memories she cannot express directly. At the farmhouse, It represents the peaceful life Joel wanted for her. After Santa Barbara, her missing fingers prevent her from playing correctly. Revenge has damaged the very connection she was trying to honor. Leaving the guitar behind does not mean Ellie is forgetting Joel. It means she may finally be separating her love for him from the guilt and violence attached to his death. Joel did not save Ellie so that she could spend the rest of her life proving that she deserved to survive. He saved her because he believed her life had value by itself. Ellie spent years believing she should have died for a cure. Joel's final message was that he would choose her life again, regardless of the consequences. By sparing Abby, Ellie may finally begin accepting that message. Her life does not need to end because Joel's life ended. She does not need to sacrifice Dina, JJ, and herself to prove how much she loved him. She can continue living. The title, The Last of Us Part 2, once again refers to more than the survivors left after the outbreak. It asks what remains inside people after grief, hatred, and violence have taken almost everything else. Abby loses her father, her friends, her community, and her physical strength. What remains is her commitment to Lev and the possibility of reaching the Fireflies. Ellie loses Joel, Jesse, Dina, her home, and part of her hand. What remains is uncertain, but she is still alive and finally capable of walking away. The world has not become kinder. Cordyceps continues spreading. The Washington Liberation Front and the Seraphites have destroyed one another. The Rattlers continue enslaving survivors until their prisoners rebel. There is no vaccine and no promise that humanity will rebuild. Even so, the story offers a small possibility of change. Abby reaches for a new purpose rather than another enemy. Ellie ends the cycle. Instead of completing it, both women make their most important choice after revenge has already failed them. The Last of Us Part 2 is not simply a story about whether revenge is wrong. It is a story about the way grief changes a person, the stories people create to justify violence, and the enormous difficulty of seeing humanity in someone responsible for unbearable pain. Joel's death begins the conflict, but his final conversation with Ellie ends it. Ellie does not spare Abby because she forgets what happened in the basement. She spares her because she remembers Joel as more than the broken body Abby left behind. She remembers the man who took her to a museum, taught her to swim, gave her a guitar, and chose her life when the entire world seemed prepared to treat her as a sacrifice. She remembers that forgiveness was something she wanted to try. Ellie cannot forgive Joel by killing Abby. She can only do it by living with the life he gave her. At the beach, with Abby beneath the water and Joel's memory in her mind, Ellie finally understands that another death will not return what she lost. She releases Abby. She releases the revenge that has consumed her. Then she returns to an empty home, leaves Joel's guitar behind, and walks toward a future that is painful, uncertain, and finally her own.